the sound of music. Oh. Hello, Wonderhussie here. Not in the hills. I'm in the desert. And what a desert it is. It's springtime, and the entire desert is blanketed in beautiful yellow wildflowers. Absolutely beautiful. And that's why I'm out here frolicking. You know, here in the desert, we don't get very many chances to frolic in the flowers. Most of the year, this landscape right behind me is dry, arid, brown, and barren. But right now, it's a veritable wonderland, like something straight out of a Disney movie. So that's why I had to come out here and frolic in the flowers and wave my magnificent purple wings, just like some kind of fabulous gay eagle. Oh, oh, oh. Ha ha ha. Okay, you're probably wondering why I'm wearing this getup. Why do I look like the amazing Kreskin, you might be wondering? Well, it's because not only am I frolicking in the wildflowers out here, I'm actually returning to the scene of a crime. Okay, not a literal crime, but a crime of sorts. See, the spring equinox was just the other day, March 19th, Tuesday, and my sister and I have a long tradition of celebrating all the celestial holidays. Summer solstice, winter solstice, fall equinox, which by the way, my birthday is on the fall equinox, and of course, the spring equinox, which is the day when the number of daylight hours is exactly equal to the number of nighttime hours. Equal. Equinox. Get it? And so to celebrate this magnificent holiday that heralds the beginning of spring, a celebration of new life, rebirth, my sister and I decided to come out here to an undisclosed location in the desert, not far from our house, and have a little equinox ceremony. Okay, initially, we wanted to go out to the Ibex sand dunes to do it. Beautiful rolling sand dune field in the very far southeastern corner of Death Valley. But we wanted to celebrate sumptuously, Bedouin style, maximalist Bedouin style. We wanted to bring out a pavilion with lanterns and lights and one of those little campfire in a cans and a Persian rug and the whole 9 yards. But if you've ever been to the Ibex Dunes, you're not allowed to drive into the dunes, so we would have had to schlep all that stuff about a mile to get up into the sand and do the party the way we wanted to. So we had to go with Plan B, and we decided to do it right here, just outside the town where we live. That's right, this is just down the road from our house, maybe a 10-mile drive. As a matter of fact, Ross, the one-legged miner's mine, is just right over there. So that means we were basically having this ceremony right in our own backyard, which is fine. It means we didn't have to schlep all our stuff as far. We didn't have to burn as much gas. We didn't have to spend so much time driving. The only downside is, well, we didn't invite everybody in town. We just wanted it to be a very small party. Just me, my sister, 2 or 3 other friends at the most. Well, maybe 4 or 5. A small group. Because, to be honest, we wanted to be silly. We wanted to put on these crazy outfits. By the way, this is my moon priestess regalia. Somebody gave me these amazing purple lame, I think they're called Isis wings, or like, I think belly dancers use them. Thank you, Kirsten. We wanted to come out here and just wear these weird outfits, and well, I'll be honest, we wanted to take some, or drink some mushroom tea and just be bonkers. You know, build a big bonfire, dance around it naked, chant crazy stuff, and just let it all hang out. So of course we didn't want to invite that many people, because it's kind of embarrassing. So we packed up all our tapestries and our Persian rug and our lanterns and lights and our pavilion and headed out here to this undisclosed part of the desert and started setting up our little party. And everything went fine at first. It was just my sister and me. We set up our pavilion and we hung up all the tapestries and we put up all the lights and the lanterns and all the fripperies we like to bring around with us when we go camping in the desert. Maximalist Bedouin style. And then our one friend that we invited arrived. And then a bunch more cars started rolling in. And we thought, oh dear, how many people found out about this party? And how did they find out about it? I mean, again, we love just about everybody, if not everybody, in our community. And so we would have gladly invited the whole dang town. But again, we wanted to drink tea and wave ISIS wings around. You know, you don't exactly want all your neighbors watching you do that. But apparently word got out somehow. And next thing you know, car after car after car after car started rolling in to our little campsite, which was right over yonder. That's right, just back there behind where my car is parked. My sister and I planned to spend the night because, you know, we wanted to carry on dancing naked around this bonfire until the wee hours. Well, the last thing you want to do after dancing around naked until the wee hours around a bonfire, drinking mushroom tea, is have to pack up a bunch of tapestries, lanterns, lights, and a Persian rug in the middle of the night and drive home. So we thought, okay, we'll just camp out here overnight. We'll wake up, pack everything up in the morning, and go home then. Well, unfortunately, things didn't go according to plan. What is that they say about the best laid plans of hussies and weirdos? Well, it definitely went astray. All these people started rolling in right as we had brewed our tea and were about to drink it. And so we thought, oh dear, what do we do now? I mean, basically this whole audience rolled in and they set up camp chairs and they were sitting there looking at us because, I mean, hello, it's like Liberace once said, I didn't get all dressed up like this to go unnoticed. Know what I mean? But everyone was literally sitting there watching us like we were the circus, and who can blame them because we kind of are the circus. And so we had to think quick, like, oh gosh, what do we do? I mean, we could just abort mission and not drink our tea and not dance naked around the bonfire. And well, that wasn't really an option. No, I've never been one to let other people dictate what I want to do, no matter how silly it is. By the way, this is my headdress from Burning Man a few years ago. I made it out of forks from the dollar store. You know those silver plastic forks you can buy for, I guess, weddings and events? They're supposed to look like silverware, but they're just made out of plastic. They're very lightweight. So I got an old visor. Well, I'll just show you. I got an old visor like you would wear for tennis, and I painted it silver, and then I stuck the stems of all these, I think it's forks and spoons. These little ones in front are spoons. In fact, there's the back of one of the spoons right there in the middle. How's that for creativity? Anyway, I thought it would be the perfect headdress to match this goddess gown and these fabulous lame wings. And I guess I didn't think about how it might look to other people. Meanwhile, my sister had her fabulous golden sun goddess outfit on. She was the sun goddess. I was the moon goddess. Is it any wonder everybody was sitting there looking at us? So we thought, oh hell, let's just drink the tea anyway and offer it around to everyone at the party. Now, I should note, I don't live in a conventional community, obviously, and so we felt comfortable asking around, hey, would anybody like some tea? And, well, I would venture a guess. Gosh, I would guess something like 40 or 50 people showed up to this party. Remember, it was only supposed to be like 4 to 5 of us. 40 or 50 people showed up. So we ended up dosing half the town. And okay, it wasn't as wild a party as we had sort of envisioned, I guess. Like, we didn't end up getting naked and dancing around the bonfire because, I mean, somebody actually brought a kid, and I didn't know half of the people. And I mean, I'm not one to be shy about dancing naked in public. Trust me, everybody knows that. But I don't know, somehow the vibe wasn't quite right. And the only real bummer, I mean, I enjoyed seeing all my friends and neighbors. It actually turned out pretty cool, and a good time was had by all. But we had intended for it to be kind of a solemn ceremony. Okay, we brought this amazing ceremonial pipe that a viewer of this channel sent me. Look at this amazing pipe. I've never seen anything like this. It's carved out of an antler. It's an antler from a deer or an antelope. And it's got this amazing bird face with this little cap on. That's the carb. And then the bowl is where I guess that's the part where the antler comes out of the animal's head. I'm not really sure. All I know is this is one of the most amazing pipes I've ever seen. So, thank you. You know who you are who sent this to me. Unbelievable. And the pouch that it comes in is almost as good as the pipe itself. I mean, talk about a fitting receptacle for a magnificent ceremonial pipe. And then another viewer sent me this amazing Buddhist bell and vajra. Okay, a vajra, V-A-J-R-A. Apparently it symbolizes the strength of a diamond and the power of a thunderbolt. And so you're supposed to hold it. I think it represents the masculine. You're supposed to hold it in your right hand. And then you hold this beautiful bell, which symbolizes the feminine. Listen to this tone. Ah, isn't that wonderful? So this represents the feminine, this represents the masculine. You're supposed to wave them around and chant hocus pocus, open sesame, and then I guess, I don't know, nirvana is achieved, or you just end up having a real good time. Well, I intended to do kind of like a healing sound bath ceremony as the sun was going down right over the mountains there on the equinox, the day of the year when there is an equal number of light and dark, yin and yang. I thought I would do this cool Buddhist sound bath ceremony and ring this little bell over my few friends' heads while the tea kicked in. And the next thing you know, we'd take off our clothes and dance around the fire and have a fine time. Well, unfortunately, 40, 50 people show up. And I don't think I'm exaggerating. I mean, okay, maybe 30, 40 people. But there was a lot of people there. And I did. I tried to ring my bell over everybody's head, and I gave as much tea away as I could. And like I said, it ended up being a really fun party. Okay, it might have not been the party we planned to have, but you don't always get the party you plan to have. Sometimes you get the party you need to have. Look at that. The wisdom of the Vajra is upon me already. And as a matter of fact, I think it was the party I needed, we needed, the entire community needed. I mean, when I say a good time was had by all, I'm not kidding. When I started to see all these Jeeps roll in, I thought, oh dear, who's this? Well, it was Ross. Ross, the one-legged miner, brought all his folks, all his volunteers over from the mine. And Ross and his volunteers are some very fine, God-fearing Christian folk. You know, Ross himself has a law enforcement backdrop. How the heck am I supposed to chug mushroom tea and dance around like a ninny in front of people like that? You know, I'm crazy. I'm weird. I make no bones about it. But I'm also respectful. You know, I try not to wave my weird Burning Man ways in the face of regular people, which is why we came all the way out here to this very lonely corner of nowhere to have this party in the first place. Well, I guess lesson learned. Don't come out down the road from Ross's mine. Just kidding. Ross ended up having a wonderful time, and so did all of his volunteers. I mean, I won't get into too many details, but like I said, a good time was had by all, even those that I didn't expect would enjoy sitting around watching a bunch of high people dance around in weird costumes. Oh, by the way, this is my third eye, also from Burning Man, but look at this. I made this, I don't know if you can see, I made this amazing, well, it's sort of like a third eye, but it's, how many? 8 third eyes. What is that, 24 eyes? Oh dear, I was never any good at math. Anyway, I made this thing, especially for the ceremony. I thought it came out pretty good, if I do say so myself. Anyway, it was a really weird night, but a good night. The only downside is, because we didn't blast it out to the whole community, there were some people who didn't find out about it. And again, I think we identified the leak. One of the original 3-4 people that we invited somebody else, and then that person invited other people. And you know how it is when it's springtime and it's beautiful weather and the wildflowers are blooming. Everybody wants to come out and have a party in the desert, especially one that wonderhussie and her sister are throwing, because we're known for throwing some pretty fabulous shindigs. So I really shouldn't be surprised. Am I right, mystical bird pipe? You sure are, wonderhussie. Anyway, the only bummer was not everybody in town did get the word, and one person in particular felt very left out that she wasn't invited. And I feel really bad about that because she's a wonderful woman. And if we were planning to have a big party, yes, of course we would have invited her. We would have invited probably everyone in town. And I'm not kidding. That's the kind of town we live in. And we would have had more food and drinks and chairs, and we weren't prepared. It was kind of like, almost like one of those nightmares where you find yourself in like in school and you're not wearing any clothes, like you're standing in the hallway in school and everyone's walking around you and you're standing there naked. Well, it's kind of like that, to randomly have all these people show up just as you're about to chug your shroom tea And then all of a sudden you have to kick into hostess mode. I mean, it was challenging. But in the end, it worked out and we did have a great time. I mean, we were up until like 2 o'clock in the morning, which is very late for us desert folk. Normally I'm in bed by like 10 o'clock. So it was wild. And possibly the wildest thing that happened was, we set up this cool pavilion, and I wish I had video of all this, but for once in my life, I was just trying to live in the moment and just have fun and not think about making a video. Because normally, anytime I do anything fun, I'm like, ooh, what angles can I shoot this from? And should I bring my drone? And do I need a tripod? And hold on a minute, let me do that over again. I didn't want to do any of that. I just wanted to be in the moment, be here now, like Ram Dass. So I didn't shoot any footage. I didn't even really take any pictures. So unfortunately, you're just going to have to go by my storytelling on this one. Although I did, go to the trouble of putting this whole outfit and turban back on just to shoot this video. So there's that. Anyway, you'll just have to use your imagination and picture this fabulous Bedouin-style pavilion with tapestries and lanterns and this Persian rug. And we were sitting on cushions around this low table with a little campfire in a can burning merrily. And we're passing the ceremonial pipe and having a drink, having a laugh. Well, one of our neighbors came over and sat down and said, "Wonderhussie, I had a really weird dream about you, and it was really intense. So you have 2 options. I can tell you about it, or you can say no." Now you tell me, what would you do if somebody said they had a really weird, intense dream about you? I mean, wouldn't you want to hear it? Well, my first inclination was to say, yeah, tell me the dream. But then I thought, oh gosh, I better ask around. So I asked everybody sitting around the little campfire in the pavilion, should I hear the dream or should I not hear the dream? And one of our neighbors, who's probably the brains of the operation, he's a science-minded fellow, he said, well, wonderhussie, remember, you can't unhear something. Once he tells you this dream, you'll never be able to unhear it. And so what if it was some kind of really super awkward sex dream or something? And I see this guy around town all the time. Like, it might make things weird between us. And I don't want there to be any weirdness between me and any of my neighbors, let alone this guy who is one of the more interesting people in town, I'll just say. So I thought, oh gosh, well, maybe I should just leave it a mystery and never know. But then again, oh gosh, I'm very curious. In fact, I think I even asked the mystical bird pipe if I should hear the story. And the bird pipe said, go ahead, wonderhussie. So yeah, I said, I want to hear the dream. And my neighbor asked me again, are you sure? And I said, yeah, but now I was starting to get nervous. Like, why was he making such a big deal about it? But okay, he told me his dream. I'm curious what you guys think about this and what it means. Because I felt like, just the setting of him sitting there in this pavilion lit by that fire glow with this, he had this bird mask on and these feathers on his hat and this little fur thing around. He looked kind of tribal and it felt very Dungeons and Dragons, and he's a good storyteller. So it was pretty trippy. He said in his dream, he was in a casino. He wanted to play some blackjack, so he was wandering around this deserted casino, and there were no blackjack tables open. And then finally, walking across the casino in the distance, he saw me, wearing my cowboy hat that I usually wear with the feathers and stuff all over it, just sauntering, nay, sashaying through this casino. And I walked right up to him and said, oh, you want to play blackjack? Well, follow me. I'll show you where you can play blackjack. And so I took him down this back hallway behind the casino. You know how all the casinos have the back of the house hallways that go down to the employee cafeteria and the changing room and, all the employee stuff? Well, I guess I led him down this back hallway, but we didn't go to the employee cafeteria or the changing room or the parking garage or any of that. Apparently, we just started making out. And okay, yeah, it is kind of embarrassing when one of your neighbors tells you he had a dream that he was making out with you, but it was cool, man. It wasn't creepy at all. I know, shocking, but that's tea for you. Anyway, I took him into this back hallway. We started making out, and I guess as we started getting more and more into it, I pulled back and I said, before we go any further, I have to tell you something. And he said, well, what is it, wonderhussie? Tell me. And I said, and this is in SFW. By the way, if you're still watching this video with kids in the room, shame on you. I'm talking about drinking tea and dancing naked around a fire. What's wrong with you? Anyway, this part of the dream does get in SFW, not safe for work or not safe for kids. So you might want to send your kids out of the room or you might not. What do I know? Anyway, I have something to tell you. Okay, tell me, what is it? I have a penis. Well, that took him aback in the dream. He thought about it for a minute. But he's a progressive guy, and I guess my allure is such that, well, penis didn't bother him. He said, well, that's okay, wonderhussie. I don't mind. I can live with that. Let's just get back to making out. So we started making out again, but then I pulled back again, second time. What is it, wonderhussie? Well, before we go any further, I have something else to tell you. What is it, wonderhussie? I have 2 penises. Dun, dun, dun! As if one penis wasn't bad enough, I had 2. And so we asked him, like, we're all sitting there high as kites, laughing uproariously at this dream. Like, well, were they side by side, like a plug, or were they one on top of the other? And, well, did they have testicles? Was there pubic hair? Well, he didn't remember any details like that. You know how it is in a dream. I just told him I had 2 penises. Maybe I didn't actually show them to him. I just told him. I'm not sure. Anyway, this time he had to think about it even longer. I mean, guys, you know how it is. There's some chick that's super hot and is going to take you to a blackjack table. 1 penis wouldn't deter you, right? 2 penises, though? That's a bridge too far for many guys. But not for my neighbor. After thinking about it for a while, he said, all right. Okay, wonderhussie. I guess I can fit both of them in my mouth. Again, I told you this is NSFW. Apologies. All right, let's keep making out. Wow! Talk about a man! This guy wasn't scared off by 1 or even 2 penises. So we started making out again, but then I said, well, hold on a minute before we go any further. There's one more thing I have to tell you. And yes, you guessed it. I guess at this point I did lift up my dress or pulled down my pants and revealed that I had not 1, not 2, but 3 penises. That's right, the third penis, and this is using his terminology, was mulatto. It was darker colored, it's darker skin tone than the other 2, and much bigger than the other 2. I'm not making this up. This guy, he had this dream a year ago, he said. And he just waited this long to tell me, I guess, until the time was right. And boy, I mean, you tell me, how much righter could the time be than sitting on the edge of this abyss of wildflowers under the moonlight, drinking tea and smoking that ceremonial pipe, with a vajra in one hand and a bell of wisdom in the other. But unfortunately, I guess the bell of wisdom only goes so far in the dream world, because in his dream, 3 felluses, were just a bridge too far. He couldn't take it. He took off. He ran out of the casino into the parking lot. He was mugged, and then he woke up. Now, I think that last part is particularly interesting. He was mugged, and then he woke up. Okay, my initial thought, and like I guess the easy psychoanalysis version of that dream is, a lot of people, men, are intimidated by me. I mean, I may not have a literal penis, but I'm always walking around swinging a metaphorical dick around, if you know what I mean. And so I think a lot of guys probably find that off-putting, which is why I don't get hit on that often, and why I haven't, well, maybe it's why I've been so unsuccessful in the romance department. Every guy out there secretly thinks I have a penis. Although Lord knows there's enough naked pictures of me floating around the internet from my time as a nude model to where anyone with 2 eyes can see clearly that I don't. Anyway, after he told me and all of us the dream, he said, gosh, wonderhussie, I hope this doesn't make things weird between us now. And I said, absolutely not. If anything, this makes me like you even more. You know, the fact that he had the balls to tell me this weird dream that he had about me having 3 penises and him being willing to accept me with 2. I mean, not every guy would feel comfortable telling a gal about something like that, let alone a gal wearing a getup like this, sitting in a tent surrounded by a bunch of other high people. So I actually give him a lot of credit for being honest enough to share that dream with us. Now, it was so well told, he's a good storyteller, that part of me was suspicious, like, is this really a dream or is this a fantasy? Did you actually write this out and, practice it? It almost sounded like The Moth or one of those storytelling shows, just like a really messed up version of The Moth. But I'm going to go ahead and take his word for it that he said he had this dream, I think he said last spring, And he just kept it to himself all this time because, well, how do you tell someone you had a dream that they had 3 penises? Uh-oh. Sun is a-setting fast. I'd better wrap this up because I gotta get home and edit this video in time to put it up tomorrow. This just happened the other day, and I wasn't planning on shooting this video. Obviously, I had no idea all this was gonna happen. So I started editing another video that I was gonna put up on Friday, but this whole situation was so bizarre and it left such an impact on me that I changed horses midstream, put on this outfit, came out here and decided to shoot this, and now I have to go home and edit it all tonight. So I can't stand out here in this beautiful field of flowers much longer, and it's gonna get dark soon anyway. And my fabulous purple lame wings don't look all that good in the dark. Although they do look amazing if you happen to be in the glow of a campfire. Know what I mean? Also, I need to get going because there's some people that are visiting here in town and they really want to meet me, and I told them I would come by where they're staying to say hi real quick. So I gotta get going, but golly, I just had to come out here and tell this story because it was such an intense experience. This just happened the other day, Tuesday. Today I'm shooting this on Thursday, but it was so wild. The whole thing, the party, everybody showing up, us not being prepared, feeling like we were naked in school, and then this guy coming and telling me about this whole crazy dream. Well, I just felt like I had to get it off my chest. And I can always use another excuse to get all dressed up in my fabulous moon priestess outfit. And if it wasn't for this dang pollen, I feel like I could stay out here forever. And one thing's for certain, next year, I'm definitely doing this again. But next equinox, to avoid hurting anyone's feelings, I guess I might as well go ahead and invite the whole dang town. Whoa! Oh.